Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Goal School. Welcome to my Championship 2025-26 table predictions video. I cannot wait for this one. Every year I look forward to doing this one. It's the 6th or 7th year consecutively we have been doing table predictions. We've had a few good years of doing predictions, some terrible calls and predictions across the years, but we're hoping that this one is going to be a good year of predictions. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on my predictions, and I want to hear your predictions, of course, in the comment section down below. Over the course of the season, there's going to be so much content, especially on the Championship, over the course of the season. Bits of Premier League and, of course, League One to combine with that and international football. So if you love football just as much as myself, be sure to stick around on the channel by hitting the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're one of the first to get notified when we upload. Enough of all that waffle though, we're going to get started in this one. I cannot wait. It's one of the strongest championship lineups we've had in ages. Let's see what happens. Here we go. 24th, Sheffield Wednesday. Now, the situation going on at Sheffield Wednesday is absolutely awful at the moment with what Chansiri's doing to the club. Of course, we've got Chansiri not paying the players or the staff. We've got the stadium situation where apparently the North Stand at Hillsborough is deemed unsafe. We've got the Danny Roll situation where he's departed the club over the summer. For a few weeks, it looked like he was staying, he was going, he was staying. He's left now. It's an absolute disaster going on at the club. At this moment in time, they have 15 players contracted to the club. Barry Bannon signed a new contract to stay at Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, the commitment from that lad is exceptional to Sheffield Wednesday. He is Mr. Sheffield Wednesday in my eyes. Now the manager at Sheffield Wednesday is Henrik Pedersen. Last year they finished 12th. And the year before they were down the bottom after getting promoted from League One. Danny Rowe come in, saved them. Last year took them to 12th. And this year, I mean, over the summer, it's been an awful summer for Sheffield Wednesday. Chansiri ruining that football club completely, and they're going to go down this season. There's no doubt about it. I hate to say that because Sheffield Wednesday, they're a massive club. They deserve to be at least in the Championship. But this year, with everything going on, why would you want to stay at a club that's not paying you for starters? And why would anyone join a club that, you know, you're not sure if you're going to get paid each month? It's crazy. They have lost quite a few players. Gassama, Masaba have both left. Famiewo, Windass, Patterson, Willix, Valentine, Smith, Ehekwe, plenty more probably to follow. I mean, Jamal Lowe did an interview the other day on Sky Sports saying that the players only find out through like Twitter if they're going to be paid or not, and they find out the day before payday if they will get paid. Crazy stuff. Yeah, Josh Windass was the top scorer last season for Sheffield Wednesday with 13 goals. Michael Smith got 12 goals and assists, and he's gone as well. It's going to be a tough year for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, I don't see them getting many points on the table. Pre-season friendlies are getting cancelled. Players are potentially having to drive to games and pay for their own hotels to stay over, which is what the clubs are meant to be doing. There's doubt over the opening game of the season away at Leicester City. There's a lot going on, and none of it is positive at all. There's been a few rumourings of takeovers and that, but nothing is materialising. Chelsea is asking incredibly lots of money for the football club because of all of his debts. Of course, he wants to recoup as much money as he can to help himself. It's just not how it should be done, really. There's a lot more to speak about Sheffield Wednesday, but for a prediction video, I'll leave it here. This video will definitely be very long because I'm really enthusiastic about the Championship. You can probably tell, I absolutely love the league. But with Sheffield Wednesday, I'll leave it there before we keep on going. But bottom of the league is Sheffield Wednesday. I don't want to put them there, but it's logical too because of everything happening. But I hope I'm wrong. And Wednesday fans, yeah, get that man out of your club. I know you guys have tried lots of things, but last year, Reading got Di Young out. You know, the ship sails and eventually you guys will get your time and you'll win the long-term battle. Hopefully. Fingers crossed for you all. Into 23rd, we've gone with Oxford United. Now, I don't want Oxford to go down because it's a bit like Plymouth last season where they stayed up, really good year, and in the following year, of course, they went down, which was last season. Oxford are the same. They stayed up last season, which was incredibly difficult for them. Des Buckingham parted way midway through the season. Gary Rowett took over, did a fantastic job, kept them in the league when they finished 17th last season. Of course, Rowett started with really good results, but this year the competition, usually look at the promoted three from League One as teams to, potentially finish below you. This year, that's not going to happen, and I really do feel like Oxford are going to be going down this season. They've lost McKieran, El Mizuni, Ruben Rodriguez is a massive, massive loss. Fornelli as well. They've brought in Luke Harris from Fulham on loan, which is okay. Brody Spencer from Huddersfield. And the one I'm most excited to see is D. Kiersmaker, the centre midfielder. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that one right. The chances are I'm not. But you know who I'm on about, Oxford fans. Last season, goals were an issue. Greg Lee and Mark Harris were the top goal scorers, joint with 6 goals only. Goodrum got 9 goal involvements last season. Fantastic player. If they can keep hold of him, he'll be huge for their survival chances. Jamie Cumming last season was very impressive with 13 clean sheets. Of course, Gary Rowett's sides are always really difficult to break down and score against. Just don't concede too many goals, but that was a huge, huge part to them staying up last year. It's going to be a huge part to them staying up this season as well. But for me, I've got Oxford 23rd. I hope I live to regret this one. In 22nd and finishing off the bottom 3, I've gone with a bit of a shock prediction based off where they finished last season. But for me, with everything that's happened at the club in the summer, I don't think this is a shock. I've gone 22nd, Blackburn Rovers, managed by Valérien Ismaël, who took over after John Eustace parted ways for Derby County last season. Ismaël come in, took a few games to really get settled at Blackburn, but then towards the end of the season they made a late run for the playoffs. They end up finishing in 7th place, just missing out on the playoffs. But Ismaël, he's averaged 1.3 points per game, 33% win rate in his 12 games in charge at the back in the last season. That's not great, and he's lost some really, really good players. Raki Costello has gone to Charlton. Dolan has moved on a free to La Liga. Massive move for him. Danny Bath and Weimann have both gone with ex-manager Eustace to Derby, and Callum Britton seems to be on his way to either Derby or Middlesbrough anytime now. They have brought in a few players. Sidibe Tavares looks nice player, the centre midfielder. The Neve, left midfielder. Albiozu, the right back, has been brought in, and Sean McLaughlin from Hull City has been brought in. The thing is with Blackburn, they always sign unknown players. And I'm not going to lie, the only one of them that they've brought in that I'm aware of is Sean McLaughlin from Hull. And last year, he wasn't great, I'd have to say. Blackburn, of course, do have some other players in their squad that are really good. I like the look of Travis, of course, Ohashi, who finished as their top goal scorer last season with 9 goals. Dolan, who they've let go of, though, contributed the most goals in that Blackburn Rovers side, 13 overall. I don't think they've got enough goals in them at the moment. Maktar Guy is being linked away from the club as well. I don't rate them defensively with Ainsley Piers between the sticks. That's just me personally. And I do think this is going to be an uphill battle for Blackburn this season. The fans and the owners completely against each other, really, aren't they? And they clash a lot. They're not in as bad a position as someone like Sheffield Wednesday, of course, but it's never good when you have that clash between owners and fans, because it disrupts what happens on the pitch as well, and the support given to the side. And for me, it is a bold shout, them finishing 7th last season, but I've got Blackburn to go down 22nd. Into 21st place now, and I have gone for Preston North End. Now, in my opinion, Preston could easily switch out with Blackburn Rovers and be relegated, but I've got them to finish in 21st. Last season, Heckingbottom guided them to a 20th place finish. They were almost dragged into the relegation battle. They were in the relegation battle. They almost got dragged into the bottom 3. They finished 2 points off relegation on the final day. Scary stuff for Preston under Paul Heckingbottom. I do like some of the players they've brought in. They've brought in Iverson, who has previously had spells at Deepdale on loan. This time he's on a permanent, I believe. Daniel Jefferson's been brought in from Bournemouth on loan. Afire as a right back is a really nice signing. I believe that one is from Brighton. Thompson's been brought in. Thierry Small from promoted side Charlton Athletic has been brought in on a free. Paul Valentine and Michael Smith have been brought in from Sheffield Wednesday. And Jack Walton has also been brought in as well as another goalkeeper. Yeah, there's some nice incomings in there. I mean, Smith, we just spoke about him. He scored, what was it, 12, got involved in 12 goals last season at Wednesday. Knows where the back of the net is. I do like Iverson. I think he's a top goalkeeper. They have let go of Freddie Woodman to Liverpool. Who saw that one coming? Emil Rees, who was the top scorer last season, 12 goal involvements for him. 12 goals overall, as Mike got 12 goal involvements last season, who's going to have to step up this season. Big boots to fill there. Ledson, Best and Watmore have also departed the club. Best is a bit of a surprising one given his age. You know, you thought he'd have a big price tag on him for Preston to sell him on. But that's a lot of money lost potentially there for a transfer sale of Best. And for me, Preston, I just don't see them progressing this season. A big loss of goals there from Emil Rees. And, you know, Watmore, Ledson as well. That's a bit of the core of the side from what I saw last year as well for Preston. I don't watch them all the time, Preston, I have to admit. But they do seem like important players that they have let go of. And I do feel like it's going to be more of the same of last season for Preston North End. Paul Heckingbottom has a 23% win rate at Preston. That's not great at all. And last season, home form saved them from the drop. And it may have to be their saving grace again this season. Deepdale's a tough place to go. And it needs to be a tough place to go this season if Preston are to survive. I've got them in 21st, just about surviving. In 20th place, I've gone for Hull City. They are still under a transfer embargo, but they, of course, are allowed to make free signings and loan signings. And that's what they've done since that video was published and uploaded. Of course, manager Serge Jakirovic, of course, wasn't in there last season. It was Ruben Selles who kept Hull up on the final day, finishing 21st. Stayed up on goal difference, was skin of their teeth. You know, it doesn't get closer than that, does it? Stayed up on goal difference last season. Looking at Jakirovic, though, he has had a promising last few seasons in management. Now in the Championship with Hull City, it's going to be a very tricky task. Out the door has gone Alfie Jones, which is a big loss from that Hull City side. Sean McLaughlin to Blackburn Rovers, not as big a miss. I didn't quite rate him as highly as some Hull fans may have done. Marvin Mellum has also departed, João Pedro and Burstow, although that one is just a loan. Incomings, they've brought in Gustavo Poeta. They've brought in Rida Lalau, Enis Destan, as well as joined up with Hull. John Lundstrom is a big one, a big name for the Championship, of course. Semi Ajay has been brought in. Akin Famewo on, of course, a free transfer from Sheffield Wednesday. He's been brought in. And an exciting one, Joel Ndala on loan from Manchester City, the winger. That is a very exciting one, of course. Anyone from Man City is exciting to watch. So that'll be one to look out for. Last season's top goal scorer departed, of course, João Pedro, who bagged 6 goals for the Tigers. Liam Miller and Bellumi will be big players for Hull this season, I've put down. Of course, last season they both suffered with big ACL injuries. I'm pretty sure it was for both of them. Bellumi is said to be a fantastic player. And when he joined Hull, I was so excited to see how he'd get on. Of course, he got the injury early on. Miller, of course, is someone we've seen play at Preston beforehand as well. And he was exciting on that left-hand side. So Liam Miller and Bellumi, that adds creativity and quite a few goals from the wing, you have to say. So how will they get going? Will they hit the ground running? You don't think they would. After such a big injury, probably be eased into the side. But under Jakirovic, I'm not going to lie, never seen his sides play before. So it's the unknown with Jakirovic. But for Hull, I've got them staying up by the skin of their teeth. They have got some nice players. Of course, Palmer, Crux in there as well. Carl Joseph is a big season for him, who was brought in January, of course. Kamara's there. Giles and Dramer. you know, they are really, really good fullbacks, but in the past few seasons, they haven't quite shown their full ability. We've also got Hughes and Alzate as well in there. So Hull definitely have a nice squad in there. Can Djurkarevic get the best out of it? I think this will be a tough season for Hull, 20th. Next up, into 19th place, I've gone for Stoke City, managed by Mark Robins these days. And last season, they finished in 18th place in the Championship. And the last 5 seasons for Stoke City, they finished 14th, 14th, 16th, 17th and 18th. And this year, I've got Stoke to finish in 19th. Now, every year you look at Stoke, you look at the players they've brought in, the squad they currently have, and think, you know what, they could push up the league this season. But Stoke somehow always managed to just stay in the same area and decline, as I've just proven to you all, but by the last few finishes. They have lost Wouter Berger from midfield. That is a massive loss in my opinion. And for the fees gone for as well, it doesn't seem like they've made much of a profit on one of their best players. We've also seen Lyndon Gooch depart, Thompson, Sidibe and Neil Ennis depart as well. While they have brought in some exciting players, including Aaron Cresswell at left back. That is a phenomenal signing. Played quite a few times in the Premier League last season for West Ham, and is definitely going to be one of the big players for Stoke this season. Sorba Thomas also advancing further forward than Cresswell on that left-hand side. His set pieces are going to be massive for Stoke this season. What a delivery he can put into the box as well. And for Wales, in the last few games, he's been a standout player as well. So that is a massive signing there for Stoke in Sorba Thomas. They've also signed the Ukrainian centre-half from Plymouth Argyle, Talerov. I believe I'm saying that correctly, but if I'm not, you know who I'm on about, Stoke fans, as well. Bosnick and Mubama have also signed for Stoke City as well. I got to admit, I'm not too familiar on both of them, but we'll have to wait and see before judging them two. But for Stoke, it's going to be a tough season. I don't think they'll get relegated. There is always the potential. I do like Mark Robins as a manager. It's going to be a tough year, that's for sure. I do see him being down there though, 19th place. Last season's top scorer was Lewis Baker with 7 goals. Manhoof got 10 goal involvements. If you can put them numbers up again and maybe improve slightly, Stoke will be on to a good year. They have already got quite a good squad. I like Johansson in goal. He was one of the best goalkeepers yet again last season in the Championship. Ben Wilmot, Gibson at the back, solid players. Ashley Phillips has rejoined Stoke City on another loan from Tottenham. Pearson and Baker in midfield, and Bejan Ho on the wing as well. So already the format is there for Stoke to have a good season. They never deliver though, and that's why I've got them in 19th. Into 18th now, and this is going to be a bit of a surprise. You're probably wondering, you haven't mentioned any of the promoted sides yet. Until now, Charlton Athletic to finish in 18th, and to be honest, this could even be higher. Under Nathan Jones, I don't really like him as a person. He's a Cardiff fan, as you can tell. I'm a Swans fan. But as a manager, he's good. Didn't quite do well at Stoke, but Luton, he was really successful. He's got Charlton promoted after finishing 4th in League One last season. They went to the playoff final and beat Leyton Orient 1-0 in the final. And they've brought in some very nice additions. They've only lost Thierry Small, who went to Preston on a free. They have brought in Charlie Kelman, who scored goals for fun for Leyton Orient last season. 21 goal involvements, I believe it was, last season for the American striker, who was signed for £3.5 million. Rob Apter from Blackpool is a very exciting signing. What a player. Tonto Oleafe from Stockport County. Once again, he was one of the main men for Stockport County last season. Thomas Kaminski is such an underrated keeper. I absolutely loved him at Blackburn. Of course, then he went to Luton when they got promoted, and now at Charlton, that is an absolute steal for a reported £1 million. Rankin Costello is one of them players for Blackburn, where really underrated as well. I really do like that addition. Amari Bell and Reece Burke have both come across with the Luton links, you feel, from there to Charlton, and they're solid additions. I mean, Amari Bell last year didn't have the greatest year, but the year before, when he was in the Championship, yeah, he was fantastic. Sonny Carey's joined from Blackpool as well on a free transfer. And one I cannot believe they got over the line, Harvey Nibbs. Of course, they needed a big transfer. of players into the first team this season. They've certainly had that, but I didn't think it would be this good. There's so many talented players in there from League One that Charlton have just said, right, we've gone up, we're having them, and they've done exactly that. Last season's top goal scorer was Matt Godden with 18 goals. Of course, Jones is going to be a big factor to how his side plays. With Luton, it wasn't the most attractive style of football, but they got results. And if Charlton fans are happy for that this season, then they'll be okay. Because I don't see a way that Charlton go down this season under Nathan Jones. He's just signed a 5-year contract after being linked with Cardiff. That shows huge ambition. They've shown a lot of ambition in the transfer market as well. And I think 18th for Charlton. They could finish higher than this, but I've gone for 18th to, you know, place everyone in a respectful position. And I can see them finishing 18th this year, Charlton. Good season for them. Exciting squad. Into 17th, I've gone for Portsmouth under John Mousinho, one of the longest serving managers in the Championship at this point, which is crazy to think. Last year, guided Pompey to a 16th place finish, and only Portsmouth and Cardiff last season conceded more goals than Pompey's 71. That was a concern, and at home and away they weren't great until the turn of the year, where the home form was fantastic and away form was allowed to be not so good because they were picking up so many points at home, which is what got them over the line in the end for Portsmouth. They have seen Yengi, Bramall, Scully, Lane and Sadie depart from Fratton Park, but to be honest, I like them sort of players leaving the squad because, to be honest, they weren't taking Pompey to the next level, and that shows ambition. Players they have brought in, though, are quite exciting. Mark Kozlowski, the centre midfielder, I believe Sheffield United and Swansea are interested in him. Pompey have beaten them both to his signature. John Swift is an underrated baller. Of course, you recall him from his time at West Brom, where, of course, last season wasn't great. The year before, put up some nice numbers, and the year before that at Reading as well, which is where he's most known from. John Swift, yeah, what a footballer. And to go back to, I believe it's his home club, John Swift, what a signing that is on a free as well. They've also signed Florian Bianchini, who I know from last season at Swansea, who out wide, he was brought in as a winger, wasn't great, didn't have the technical ability, but through the middle as a 9, fantastic, Bianchini. They've also brought in Leroux and Sagesic. I hope I'm saying them right. I know nothing about them, but let's wait and see. For Pompey this year, 17th, it might seem a bit harsh on paper, but as I've said many times, there's so much quality this year in the Championship, and I think this will be a good year for Portsmouth. Last season's top goal scorer is Colby Bishop, scoring 11. Josh Murphy got 21 goal contributions last season as well. If they can keep them two firing, Pompey will be absolutely fine this season. A few people suggesting they'll be dragged into a relegation scrap. I'd like to put them a bit higher. I've gone for 17th for Portsmouth. Into 16th position now, we have gone for QPR. Under new manager Julian Stefan, replacing Martí Cifuentes at Loftus Gate, who last season guided QPR to 15th in the Championship. I've got them finishing in 16th this season under Julian Stefan, who at Rennes last season averaged 1.5 points per game. If you can do that at QPR, they'll probably just miss out on the playoffs. And that would definitely be a good season at QPR. It sort of feels like the Sunderland of last season. They brought in, of course, Sunderland last year, Regis Labrise. No one was really sure. They had a few transfers where, once again, big names and good players, but no one was sure how they do at Sunderland. And this sort of feels the same at QPR, who, of course, Sunderland just got promoted to the Premier League. If QPR can do that, they'll be over the moon. They have lost a few players. Charlie Kelman, who he wasn't going to renew his contract, and they got the best fee possible for him. Win-win for QPR, to be honest. Kenneth Powell, Fox, Colback and Anderson have all departed. Out of them, only Kelman's the one where you think, oh wow, they lost him. But then you read into it a bit that he wasn't going to sign a new contract. And it makes complete sense. They have brought in one of the most exciting youngsters in the EFL, Quinn Poku. They've brought in Burrell as well. And Bengu has also joined as well at QPR. I mean, them three, all from League One, All really, really promising players. Very smart recruitment from QPR. Michael Frey was their top scorer last season, scoring 8 goals. They have got some very good players, of course. You always look at QPR, think Karamako Dembele, Elias Chair, of course. At the back, Jimmy Dunn signed a new contract. Varane in midfield. Stella and Colley as well in that side as well. So QPR building a nice squad. For me, though, I think there's stronger sides above them, and I haven't quite backed the Julian Stefan project yet. But as I can say, I could be horribly wrong on this one, and QPR could surprise everyone. For me, I've got them 16th. Into 15th place now, I've gone for Watford under Paulo Pezzolano. Last season, Tom cleverly guided Watford to 14th, and he almost survived the whole season until, of course, he got sacked late on in the year. Pezzolano will be hoping to survive the whole season, although if they do finish 15th, I'm not sure if he's going to keep his place at Vicarage Road. Last season was such a close year for Watford in terms of what they were trying to achieve. They ended up off 8 points off relegation, 11 points off playoffs. They were in the middle, and for some time they were closing in on the playoffs, and then they'd drop some points and not quite be in touching distance again. They had a good start to the year and then fell off as the year progressed. I think they only lost their first home game of the season in December last year, which wasn't bad at all. They have sold a few players. Rachovic, Ciarelta and Ogbonna have all departed Vicarage Road. They've brought in, though, a man that is so highly rated, I cannot even tell you. Nestroy Irankunda from Bayern Munich. 50% sell-on clauses being, said everywhere, that everyone's documenting the 50% release clause because it's such a huge sell-on clause. This guy, though, is meant to be the next best thing. They've also brought in another right winger. I hope I said this one right. Moama. Hopefully I've said that one right. They've brought in Baxter Bowler as well. Kipranu, who was a solid pickup from Peterborough on a free. And Semedo to bring up to their striker force as well. Bowler and Baxter, I don't quite think are Watford quality. I hope they're not coming into starting roles. But if they're rotation players, I can understand why. Last season, Vikun Bio scored 10 goals for the Hornets. This season's going to be interesting under Pezzolano. I have no idea the type of football he plays. Excited to find out, though. Watford, I've put them in 15th this season. Into 14th place now, I have gone for Bristol City. Of course, they made the playoffs last season under Liam Manning, finishing in 6th place. Yes, they were destroyed by Sheffield United, who lost in the final. But, of course, Bristol City, they have been improving year on year. And in fact, Bristol City have improved on their previous finish in each of the last 5 seasons. It's going to be a challenge this year to improve on 6th place. But you can see how much Bristol City are growing as a club. A few years ago, there was loads of question marks over Bristol City. Of course, they were just in the middle with Preston in the Championship, stereotypically. But really, they have shown a bit of ambition, especially in recent transfer windows, to improve that squad. And you have to say, they've done a good job about it. This summer, they've let go of Naki Wells, which is a bit of a shock, really, considering he got involved in 14 goals last season for them. Marcus McGuane, who I thought was brought in January, he has departed. And Kai Naismith has departed, which was a bit of a given. He wasn't the biggest player there at Bristol City. They have brought in a few really exciting players. Emil Rees to replace Naki Wells and sort of be that number 9, which Bristol City were missing for a few years. That was a bit more clinical than what they had. And a different option. I think Emil Rees is such a good option. Had his injury problems at Preston, but always scored goals. And a player that I really like, to be honest. They've also brought in Joe Lumley and Vitek as goalkeeping options. Of course, I think O'Leary is injured for the start of the season. And Adam Randell has been signed on a free from Plymouth Argyle. That's an exciting addition to their midfield. So far, I think Bristol City have an exciting squad. I've said this, I mean, QPR, Watford and the teams up all have an actual chance of the playoffs. But there's so many teams that have a good chance of the playoffs. It's really difficult to pick, of course, the teams to finish there. Who's just going to miss out? And then when you get down to 16th, it looks like they're going to be in a relegation battle. That's not the way I think it's going to play out this year. I feel like it's going to be a few points between these sides as we climb up the table, and it's going to be a really exciting year for the playoff pushing sides. But in 14th, I have gone for Bristol City. Gerhard Struber, previously been in the EFL with Barnsley, kept them up in the COVID season, of course. Last year, Anis Mehmeti was the Bristol City top goal scorer with 12 goals. Let's see if he can pop them numbers again. And if Bristol City can be up there in the table. For me, I've gone 14th for Bristol City. Into 13th place now, I've gone for Middlesbrough. Under Rob Edwards now, after they parted ways with Michael Carrick, which I was a little bit surprised about. I thought they'd give Carrick another season at the Riverside. Of course, they have had a few decent years with him, but they haven't hit the heights that everyone expected after that initial season with Carrick, where, you know, they were so close to getting automatic promotion back to the Premier League, and it didn't quite work out for them in the playoffs. The last few years as well, they've had incredibly talented squads, and they've not been able to achieve anything. This year, once again, they're going into it one of the strongest squads in the division. Certainly starting 11s. It's an absolute joke how some of the players they've got. Last year, they finished in 10th. They finished 4 points off the playoffs, which isn't a million miles away, which is why they'd give Carrick another chance. But they all opted to switch it up a little bit at the Riverside. Rob Edwards has come in, who plays a similar style of football to Carrick, I'd say. Luton, of course, last season didn't work out for him, but he has had Premier League experience in the not too previous past, and he's also got a side promoted through the playoffs who, you know, weren't expected to go up. They overachieved. So hopefully Middlesbrough, that's the aim that they're trying to get with Rob Edwards. They have seen Josh Coburn depart, as well as Johnny Howson and Ditchsteel. They have brought in Alfie Jones, centre-half, and Abdoulaye Kante, who are exciting additions to the Borough squad. Hayden Hackney has apparently turned down a £20 million move to Ipswich Town. Whether that shows the ambition he's got at Middlesbrough, or if it shows something wrong with Ipswich, I'm not too sure. But that is incredible. One of the best midfielders in the Championship is staying with Middlesbrough. That's been massive to their promotion push. The only question marks I have over Middlesbrough, they've got some fantastic players. Like Azaz, they've got Whittaker. Strike force is brilliant. Tommy Conway up there. Defensively, of course, the experience, like Luke Ayling at the back as well. It's a nice squad. With Borough, though, the only thing is Rob Edwards. Last year, has he got time? Has he had time to refresh and re-go again to give it his all? Because last year, he just didn't look up to it. He looked so mentally tired after the season in the Premier League. It just so demanding, took so much out of him. He wasn't ready to go. That's the only concern I have with Rob Edwards. And I think they get a slow start to the season and then get going under Edwards. Last season's top goal scorer was in fact Tommy Conway with 13 goals. And he easily could have scored many more after, you know, getting more minutes up top after Latte Laff was sold in January. Finn Azaz is a joke. I don't know how they've still kept hold of him. 23 goal involvements last season at the Riverside. Very good squad. Barley's are in there as well. Vandenberg, who is constantly being linked to Premier League clubs. It does seem inevitable that it's going to be a lot more movement in the transfer window for Borough, both incomings and outgoings. The last few years, as I've said, they've had very strong squads. They could easily be pushed up the table, but I think they're going to be slow starters this season. So Middlesbrough to finish 13th. Into 12th place then, I have gone for Wrexham. Back-to-back promotions, 3 promotions in a row for Phil Parkinson, and now he's back in the Championship. Last time he was in the Championship, it didn't go too well, so he'll be hoping to prove himself at this level after finishing second from League One last season. But, you know, this is huge. Wrexham in the Championship. It's great to see, of course, from a Welsh point of view, another Welsh club. Of course, Wrexham fans piping up online and everything. I'm not too into that. Personally, as I quickly want to say, it's not a rivalry, lads, is it? It's just 2 Welsh sides, and everyone says, oh, Welsh? 2 Welsh sides? Not many of them in the English football system. It must be a derby. It's really not. It's about as similar as Swansea versus Bristol City. Not much in it. For Wrexham, though, speaking more on them, Mullin, Dolby and Bolton have departed, while they've brought in and continue to be active in the transfer window. They were slow starters, but they brought in Lewis O'Brien, who was at Swansea last season. our best midfielder, I'd have to say. It's close competition with Franco, but probably was our best midfielder since he joined. Absolutely incredible in midfield. And when I did my early predictions, I put Wrexham a few places down from this prediction in 12th. Lewis O'Brien joined and instantly they went up, because that is how good he is. Kakase has also been brought in. Connor Cody, who was playing Premier League football last season. Don't let his age fool you. He's still brilliant. Hardy's joined from Plymouth. He knows where the back of the net is. Windass has joined. Danny Wards, Thompson, and Broadhead and Kiefer Moore are being rumoured to join, both Welsh internationals, of course. And that would increase their chances of pushing to the top 6, of course. Last season, Sam Smith was their top goal scorer of 18 goals. They've got some really good players in that squad. Of course, the unknown is with Phil Parkinson, but I've got Wrexham to have a good season. I think they'd take 12th, given how competitive the league is this season, how many teams have got generally really solid sides. I think they'd take it. I'm not telling anyone what to expect from their side. For me, I'm just saying I think Wrexham 12th, that would be a good year for them, in my opinion. I've got them 12th. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Into 11th place then, I've gone with my team, Swansea City. We have had a very, very good summer window up to this point, but when you look at the squad, we are still behind schedule, I'd have to say. The only reason it's not going as well as it looks on paper is because when you look at the outgoings, we had so many players go out. Harry Darling went for a free, which I'm still gutted about. Yates has gone, Bianchini, Pedersen, Allen, Norton, Kuhahenovic as well have all departed. Yates was a one that we all knew was going to happen. Allen and Norton, their experience is crazy, and Darling on a free is a bit of a kick in the teeth, because I love Darling here. He's going to smash it at Norwich. And when you find out where I've put them, you can understand how highly I rate him and that Norwich side. Back to Swansea, we missed out on a big transfer fee on him as well, having him let go on a free. We have brought in, Inusa for quite a big fee. We've brought in Cameron Burgess as well from Ipswich on a free. Fantastic signing. Ethan Galbraith, who was Leyton Orient's best player last season after Kelman, I'd have to say. Wales has been brought in, Santos, and potentially Richard Kone, who scored goals for fun last season at Wycombe Wanderers. That one is still up in the air at the time of recording. Of course, Snoop Dogg and Modric. Can the Swans keep on going, and will this be a special season? I really do hope so, without trying to be too biased towards the Swans. That's why I've put us in 11th this season under Anne Sheehan. Assistant managers coming into the role as head coach doesn't always end well, but something different about Sheehan. Whether he makes it through the season or not, I think he always deserved this shot at manager, given how well he did last season. We were destined to go down, and he was fantastic. So if he lasts 5 games and gets sacked, he deserved a shot anyway, in my opinion. Liam Cullen last season was our top goal scorer, bagging 11 goals. And Josh Tyman with 7 assists. He's phenomenal, as well as Franco in midfield. We do need a few more bit more defensive depth, really. We've got a few injuries at the moment. And we need a striker and a right winger. As soon as we get that sorted, I think the Swans are on to something this season. I've got us 11th though, missing out on the playoffs. Into 10th place then, top 10. Here we go. You wouldn't have been expecting this one. They're my dark horse for the season. In 10th place, I've gone for Derby County. And it's mainly because of the manager they have in the dugout, John Eustace. He's overachieved with Birmingham before they let him go to replace him with Rooney. Still can't get over that decision. Incredible. Eustace was phenomenal last year at Blackburn. Probably would have finished in the top 6 if he didn't depart for Derby. And this year, of course, he went to Derby, of course, and kept them up, finishing 19th. And this year, I think they have a fantastic season. Last year, Eustace averaged 1.5 points per game in his last 14 games with Derby. And over a full season, of course, that's, just under 70 points thereabouts. It's not bad at all. And that's almost playoffs, and that's where I think that points tally will probably be this season. I think we'll have quite a lot of teams getting high points tallies this season. some of the business they've done. Let me just take you through it because some of this is phenomenal. They've let go, first of all, Sonny Bradley, Mendes Lang, who was a big part of that side last season, contributing to 7 goals. Tom Barkhuizen and Tyrese Farner have all departed, but they've brought in David Ozo for another loan. What a player. Owen Beck at left back. He was at Blackburn useless last season. Phenomenal addition there. Carlton Morris, who is a man who's got leadership qualities. With Luton going up to the Premier League, even with Barnsley before, I rated him then. He played Swansea in a playoff semi-final at Oakwell, and I was frightened for my life watching him run at the ball. He was very good, let's just say that, and he's developed into a fantastic player. Luton got relegated. Derby pick up an incredible talent there on a cheap fee as well, it seems to be. They've brought in Danny Bath and Vyman from Blackburn, both brilliant additions to the squad. Experience is added there, and leadership and character as well. Brian Brewster's been brought in on a free transfer. That man, it just didn't work with him at Sheffield United. He was at Swansea as well. He was brilliant. Just no one's been able to really twist the key on that potential and really fully unlock the door with Brian Brewster. Eustace, though, is a manager who is one of the best in the division, and he could definitely have the key to fit the lock for Brian Brewster and really unlock the potential there. Patrick Agyemeng has been a big marquee signing. He's signed for about £7 million according to sources as well. So a big spending spree this season at Derby, but I think it pays off, and they have a very, very good season under Eustace. Last season, Jerry Yates was their top goal scorer, 10 goals. He's, of course, he was on loan from Swansea. He's now gone to Luton for £1 million. Yes, they've lost their top 2 goal contributors from last season in Mendes Lang and Yates, but with Carlton Morris, Agyemeng as well, Vyman, Brewster in there, they're going to be okay. Added to what they've already got. Zeta Strom in goals, brilliant. I really like the side. Ibu Adams is, yeah, he's good. And some of the other players. So Derby will have a very good season this year, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Into 9th place then, here we go. I've gone for West Bromwich Albion under Ryan Mason. Ryan Mason, just 34 years old, and is now in his first managerial job. He's been linked with loads of jobs over the years, but finally taken one. Last season, West Brom finished 9th. I think they do the same this year. However, it's worth pointing out for West Brom fans that last time West Brom finished in 9th, the season after, they went on to finish 5th, of course, in the playoffs. So, what could be under Ryan Mason? It's an exciting squad there at West Brom. I really do like the likes of Tom Fellows, who last season got 18 goal involvements. West Brom have lost Diangana, Swift and Ajayi. I think it's fair to say all 3 of them are players that you expected to depart the Hawthorns this summer. They had their time at West Brom and it was time for them to move on. Maybe a slight argument for Diangana, but he has in fact departed. George Campbell, Nat Phillips and Habogo have been brought in. Nat Phillips was at Derby last season. He was at Cardiff the year before. I don't think he's the greatest defender, but for Championship, okay, it's all right. George Campbell is a player I'm excited to see how he gets on, though, at West Brom. Josh Maja contributed 12 goals to the Baggies last season as their top goal scorer as well. It's just under Ryan Mason. It is exciting, and I've put them 9th because I don't think they'll make the top 6. But I also don't think they'll slip down the table. So I've gone where they finished last season. Easy thing to do, but that's where I've gone for West Bromwich Albion. Okay, here on up are teams that, if you're in 8th or 7th or above, I really do think missing out the playoffs in 8th and 7th, you could easily be in there. Easily. But I haven't got this side, the 2 sides obviously missing out in the playoffs because it's not big enough. And I think they should write in this year and say, we need a bigger playoffs because the quality of the Championship is incredible. And the promoted sides keep getting relegated anyway. So that's what they should do. They're not going to. In 8th place, I have gone for Millwall under Alex Neil. Is this finally Millwall's year? Last season they finished 8th. They were close. This season, if they finish 8th, that would probably be better than last season given the competition in the league. We'll go through the outgoings first, but I'm a big fan of this from Millwall. They've lost Ian Fleming, who was on loan at Burnley for ages anyway. Connolly's gone to Leyton Orient. Saville's gone to Luton. Hyman's gone to Blackpool. Wallace has departed to Huddersfield. Leon Roberts, he's gone to League One as well as a goalkeeper there. And Watmore has departed as well. That's the boring bit out the way. Listen to this. Millwall have brought in Josh Coburn. Big price tag, but he works for Millwall. They've brought in Luongo from Ipswich. Very nice indeed. Krokombe has been brought in. Not too sure on him. They've brought in Stephen Bender, used to be at Swansea. They've brought him on loan from Fulham. Very, very smart business. Really good, that. And the main one, which I think it could be the best signing in the Championship this season. And I don't think I'm over-exaggerating. If there was one man Millwall could bring in that you'd say that is such a Millwall signing, it was this one. Alfie Doherty. The way Alex Neil and Millwall like to play overall, they got so many monsters in that side. So the height is incredible. Set pieces. And this man puts in an incredible delivery. From corners, from free kicks, everything. In open play. And they've only gone and got Mihailo Ivanovic up top. Macaulay Longstaff, Kevin Nisbet. The depth is there in every position in that side. Luke Cundle's in there. I could go on forever. This Millwall side is exciting. And if they don't get a top 6 place, I don't think they will. Which I'm not happy about me saying that. But if they don't, it really just shows the quality in the Championship this season. Alex Neil's side last season, 2 points off the playoffs. Alex Neil beat 2 of the 3 promoted clubs last season in the Championship. Only Sunderland they couldn't beat, but they did get a draw against them. And they beat Leeds and Burnley last season anyway, who went up in the automatics. This team, this manager, knows how to tactically outsmart the best. And make it hard, especially at the Den. Very good. Very good. Millwall 8th. Okay, into 7th place on the side, just missing out from the top 6 this season, will be Sheffield United. They made the playoff final after finishing 3rd last season. They departed company with Chris Wilder, and now they've brought in Ruben Selles, who last season kept up on the final day. Hull City had an uphill battle ever since he was appointed in December. Previous to that, he was at Reading. Previous to that, he was at Southampton, Ruben Selles. At Sheffield United, the pressure is immense compared to the likes of Hull. Of course, last season was tough. They've let go of Sousa, Brewster, and potentially Kiefer Moore to Wrexham. They've brought in Tyler Bendon, who was on loan at Reading, was purchased by Nottingham Forest and been loaned out now to Sheffield United. That is a fantastic addition there. He can play right back and centre half as well. Louis Barry, who was on loan at Hull last season, but on the wing he is phenomenal. Highly rated player as well. And Ukaihi as well has been brought in. I'm not too sure on that one, but he has been brought in. Last season, Tyrese Campbell was the top goal scorer with 10 goals. Last season, Gus Harmer contributed to 16 goal involvements. They've got the likes of Albaster, Peck in there. O'Hare, Harmer, Cannon, Brooks, Burrows, Cooper in there. It's such a talented squad. I've got them missing out on the playoffs, though, in 7th. Into 6th place, I have gone for Norwich City. A huge part of that is the manager, Liam Manning. He made it last season with Bristol City with a weaker squad. And this year, the squad's looking good. And so are Norwich, Liam Manning, Last season, they finished 13th in the Championship. And the last time Norwich finished 13th in a season, they made the playoffs the following year. Excited, isn't it, for Norwich? I've done my research on this one. Outgoings this year, Jonathan Rowe has completed his, of course it was a loan, and now they've purchased him over there and he's gone. Signs has departed as well, Angus Gunn and Onel Hernandez. So really, out of them outgoings, only Signs is a big one. They've made a lot of money from Jonathan Rowe going, but Signs as well, a lot of money from that. They've brought in the likes of Darling and Medic, both centre-halves. That's so exciting for Norwich. They brought in Wright, of course. That one was made a permanent deal. Some signing. Manchester City Academy graduate as well there. Kvistgarden, I hope I'm saying that all right, has been brought in on a big money move. Diallo, a winger as well. Exciting. Jeffrey Schlupp and Kovacic, I hope I'm saying that right, the keeper. So many big players there. Jeffrey Schlupp is one that's gone under the radar. That is an exciting player to bring in. Buha signs last season with 18 goals. They've kept hold so far of Josh Sargent, the USA international. 20 goal involvements last season. Stronger squad. They have built a stronger squad and have got a stronger manager in this season. And I think they finish in the top 6. I've been waffling on for so long, it's gone dark outside. I've had to turn the light on. But we're moving on to 5th position, where I have put Birmingham City. Under Chris Davis last season, they won League One in what feels like first gear. They didn't really have to do too much to win games. And, you know, that is only a good thing for Birmingham City, that this year they've got gears to go into and levels to grow up into. Exciting stuff. Now, a lot of people are backing them for the playoffs, for the top half. Last time Blues finished Championship top half was in the 15-16 season. Last time they made the playoffs in the Championship was the 11-12 season. A few people have even backed them for the top 2. I just feel like the competition is a bit too strong for that, and I don't feel like Birmingham City are that good yet for the top 2. I could be proven horribly wrong, but that is just my personal thoughts. I put them 5th. Outgoings, the only main one is Alfie May, who contributed to 24 goal involvements last season. That is a lot of goals. They've brought in Kyogo Furuhashi for a large sum of money. Bright Oiseh-Samuel at right back. Fujimoto, Damari Gray, Phil Newman has been brought in. Tommy Doyle, Cashin and Beadle all on loan. Exciting stuff. Now, I'm not too sure on Beadle. At Sheffield Wednesday, who's been there the past 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure. Hasn't impressed me. Over the summer in the England under-21s Euros, he was impressive there. So I guess it sort of decides how much work the keeper has to do. I'm surprised they don't go for Rushworth, which is who Coventry went for. That would have made a lot more sense to me with the ambition of Birmingham. Anyway, it is still a good signing for the Championship. Tommy Doyle is a fantastic addition. Furuhashi's going to score loads. Oiseh-Samuel is brilliant. Fujimoto, I'm not too sure on at the moment. Damari Gray as well, but Phil Newman seems to be very highly rated. And adding into that squad, which is already stacked, brilliant addition. They've got loads of depth already. Last season, Jay Stansfield was the Blues' top goal scorer. 19 goals, but it is worth noting that 9 of them were from the spot. They've got a great team, and it doesn't seem like they're done yet in the transfer window. They've been linked to some huge names. It's too many to tell you about. But Birmingham City, they've got a lot of ambition, haven't they? And it's what you love to see from owners and a club. 5th place this season for me. Into 4th place, we have gone for Coventry City. Now, they could be a place higher. A few people have backed them a few places lower. Last season, they finished in 5th place under Frank Lampard, who come in midway through the season to replace Mark Robbins. Of course, Coventry last season lost to Sunderland dramatically in the playoff semi-final. They finished in the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 seasons as well. And I think they do the same this year. I think they're nailed on for the playoffs this year, Coventry. I really like the squad out there. They haven't lost that many players. Tavares has gone to League One. Patterson has joined Plymouth, and Lewis Binks has joined Brøndby as well. They've brought in Kane Kessler-Hayden, who is a brilliant player. Kane Kessler-Hayden. Angel Brow at left back. They needed cover there. They've got it now. And the biggest one, they didn't need to do much to the squad, but Carl Rushworth has gone to Coventry. And as a Swans fan, I cannot speak highly enough of Carl Rushworth. One of the best keepers in the league this year. He will be, without a shadow of a doubt, he will be one of the best keepers this year. I am so sure of that. Incredible talent, and I believe Coventry were trying to get him on a permanent deal. Brighton obviously didn't want to let him go because he is that good. So only sanctioned for a loan. What a keeper though. And Coventry are going to be a level above because of that this season. They've already got the likes of Sheaf, Grimes, Haji Wright in there, Sims up top, Sakamoto on the right, of course. I'm missing loads. It's such a good side. And now with the addition of Rushworth as well is brilliant. Rodoni as well, I forgot to mention him. 21 goal involvements last season. Haji Wright was the top goal scorer, 12 goals. They spread the goals out quite a lot last season, Coventry. I'd imagine they do the same again. but this year finishing 4th under Frank Lampard. Okay then, 3 teams left to predict, and of course it is the 3 sides that got relegated from the Premier League. In my opinion, they are the strongest. We've got, of course, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester. What order though? Well, in thirds and missing out on the automatics, I have gone for Leicester City. Of course, there's rumours that they will be getting a -9 points deduction before the start of the season. That is going to be huge, and that could be the difference between maybe even playoffs and not playoffs, or automatics and not making the automatics. It's mental. Now they've got Marty Cifuentes, who was at QPR, of course. Last season in the Premier League, they finished in 18th. Out of the 3 relegated sides from the Premier League last season, Leicester conceded the least amount of goals last year. At QPR, Cifuentes averaged a 35% win rate, which he's going to have to improve at Leicester because the stakes are so much higher, but the squad is so much better. So we're going to have to wait and see how that one goes. Last season, Jamie Vardy was the top goal scorer of 9 goals, but of course he's left now. But in that squad, they've still got so much talent. Mavi Adidi and Fatawu, brilliant players. Bobby Reid, Jordan Ayew, El Khanous, who a lot of big sides are taking notice of. The Leicester midfielder, Skip and Winks, could be the best centre-mid pairing we see in the Championship this season. Ricardo Pereira also in there as well. What a side Leicester have. Even with -9, they should be making the playoffs, at least, I think, with that squad. 3rd place for me, not automatics, but 3rd place for Leicester. And if they had a -9, it's not been confirmed yet, but I think that would be a good season for Leicester, definitely. And a chance still to return to the Premier League through the playoffs. Into the top 2 then, and we've got 2 sides left to predict. But what order? Ipswich or Southampton? Well, in 2nd place, I have gone for Southampton. Under Will Still, who is highly talked about in the football world. Last season, they finished in 20th. But Will Still has joined over the summer, and it's really exciting for the Championship overall to see Will Still. Of course, everyone's heard of his name, but I don't really know what type of style of play to expect from Will Still. Of course, under Russell Martin, we had a lot of possession. So I'm not too sure if Will Still is going to bring in his own ideas or if he's going to try and play a certain way. Not too sure. We'll have to wait and find out when they play Wrexham on the opening day, which we will be live for, as well as Ipswich trip to Birmingham. So make sure you are subscribed to tune in to all the watch-alongs this season. There's going to be plenty of them. Last season, Southampton were relegated from the Premier League in 20th, as we said. 12 points, which, of course, is almost territory with the breaking Derby's record of 11. They're so close. Last season in the Premier League, Southampton conceded the most goals and scored the least. That's going to have to be corrected this year. And last 2 jobs for Will Still, he's averaged a 40% win rate. Probably going to have to improve if he's going to get Southampton into the top 2 this season. So far coming in, they've had Damien Downs and Josh Quazil. Not too sure on either of them, but both sound exciting because Southampton, their recruitment recently has been fairly decent. They have let go of Sulemena. They got a good fee for him. Walker Peters has gone and joined West Ham. Bednarek, Onuachu and Amo Amayu have all departed. They have currently, at this point in time, got Tyler Diblin and Mateus Fernandez. If one of them, or somehow both of them, stick around, they really, really could be winning this league. Both sensational players, but I highly doubt they're both going to be here come the end of the summer transfer window. Last season, Paul Onuachu was the top goal scorer for Southampton with 4 goals. But the year before that, when they were last in the Championship, Adam Armstrong got 34 goal contributions. He's still here at Southampton and could well put up similar numbers once again this season. But the team I have got winning the league this season in first is Kieran McKenna's Ipswich Town. The fact Kieran McKenna has stuck around at Ipswich is a huge part for me, putting them top of the tree. Last season they finished 19th in the Premier League. Kieran McKenna in his last 2 seasons in the EFL has averaged a 61% win rate. Not bad at all, is it? Not bad at all. They have lost Liam Delap to Chelsea, of course, for quite a large sum of money. Sam Morsey, who was a massive part in their promotions all the way to the Premier League, has departed. Luongo to Millwall, Tuan Zebi to Burnley, Burgess to Swansea, Harness and Hutchinson potentially going. Harness has gone though to Huddersfield. Hutchinson's one where he's been rumoured to join Brentford as well, but currently is an Ipswich Town player. They brought in Azar Matuwisa, the CDM, probably to replace Morsey for £11 million. They brought in Ashley Young as a right back and Cedric Creepray. I believe that one is on loan though, so he's been in the Championship before with West Brom and Cardiff. Have to wait and see how he gets on, if he's a starter or not, but still, decent player there for Ipswich. And maybe Hayden Hackney, although the recent news coming out there is that Hayden Hackney's turned down Ipswich, which is something you don't see these days, players turning down the clubs, but incredible if it was to be true, because the fee was meant to be around £20 million. Mental for the Championship, crazy money. Last season for Ipswich, Liam Delap was the top goal scorer, 12 goals, but of course he has departed, but they have still got so much quality. Hurst up top, Clark on the left, Smorgic, who was with Blackburn the year Ipswich went up, and kept Blackburn up that year with his goals, incredible. Philogene Bidance is so exciting, was at Hull a few years ago, of course. Ogbene on the right, signed from Rotherham on a free last year, suffered with injuries. Where's Burns? Chaplin in there as well. Jack Taylor in midfield. Leif Davis, who will inevitably get loads of assists this season. Darragh Roche at the back. Jacob Grubbs as well. And Palmer Muric, the quality in goal. I don't think there's anyone better than that in the league this season. That is incredible. And for me, Ipswich Town will be the Championship winners this season. Okay, that's my 1 to 24 done. On screen, you can see the table. But we've got some extra awards to try and predict for a little bit of fun. So let me know these in the comment section down below. The Golden Boot, Golden Glove, Most Assists, Surprise Team, and the Underperforming Team of the season. For me, Golden Boot, Adam Armstrong with Southampton under Will Still. I've heard his attacking style of play. I don't know much more than that. 34 goal involvements last time he was with Southampton in the Championship. I think he gets a lot of goals this season, to say the least. Golden Glove, I've gone for Rushworth at Coventry. I think at the moment, best keeper in the league. Hermansen at Leicester, maybe a bit of competition, but I really do think Rushworth is just that good. Serious quality there as well. Maybe Michael Cooper at Sheffield United as well, to give him a close run for his money. Most assists, Leif Davis for Ipswich. Absolute joke of a player. I don't know how Ipswich are keeping hold of him. I loved him when he was in League One with Ipswich, and unfortunately they got promoted, because I would have loved Swans to go in there and get him. But I think he will stack up so many assists in that side. Maybe even Jack Clark and Bidance and Smorgic and everyone else will get loads as well. Maybe even Amari Hutchinson, if he's still there. Mad depth. Prize team, I went for Derby to finish 10th place. I think under John Eustace were the best managers in the Championship this season. I think they will do really, really well. And the underperformers, as you can tell, I've got them to go down. Blackburn Rovers from 7th to 22nd. Stranger things have happened in the Championship. You always get the sides who weren't that great the year before and jump out and do really well the next year. And you always get the sides that fall off massively. Predicting that one to be Blackburn Rovers this season. Well, they are all my predictions for the upcoming season. I'm so excited about it. I do apologise for the long video, but I hope you've all sat there with a coffee and had to refill it about 5 times and enjoyed the video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and let me know you made it to the end of the video in the comment section down below, because that is just top support, and I would really appreciate to know who's made it all the way to the end. Thanks once again for tuning in. It means the world. Subscribe if you're new to Goals Galore. We'll be doing loads of content over the EFL, mainly the Championship this season, as always. And drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as well. And I'll see you in the next one very soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.